To the explanation of my code. My project is on the exam management system. I have three classes defined. To start off with, I have a person class defined. This is a base class for my derived student class. There are some common general elements from this class that can be inherited by the student, such as the full name of the person, the date of birth, and the mutators and accessors functions here. So let's move on to the student class. Now this is my main. This class performs one of the main functions in the program. So start off with these are the data members. It inherits from the person class. It inherits the name and date of birth from the person class, and stores additional information relevant to the student, such as major, student ID, the exams taken, and exams scheduled by the student, and multiple student accessors and mutators. So like set major, set student ID, etc. Add exams taken. So we get to add a exam and grade struct to our vector of exams taken. So and then we can get our grades. We can add exams scheduled. And then we can get our exam scheduled. We can erase our exams vector. There's also a function to help the student opt out of exams he has scheduled. A print function which prints all the exams that the student has taken or scheduled, and a sign up function that helps students sign up for a particular upcoming exam. And let's move on to the exam class. This exam stores all exam-related information such as exam date, type, total seats, current seats, the available seats, the grade summary of past exams such as highest score, average score, lowest score, and the exam ID. This is the constructor that defines the data members, and these are the accessors and mutator functions such as set exam date, set exam type, and setting the total number of seats, printing the seats, and getting the students who have signed up for the seats, and setting the grades, getting the grades, exam ID, and helping a student register in the exam object. So let's move on to the main function, the main CPP file. So to start off with, we have our input data, which is the students.txt and exams.txt. The exam.txt holds all exam-related information that my program is going to load in. This is the date, the exam type, the total seats, and the exam ID. And if you can notice, these are exams that that will take place in the future. This exam, however, these two exams right here, they have already taken place, and they have results associated with them. This is the highest score, the average score, and the lowest score for the exams that have already taken place. And the students file, we have different students with their full name, date of birth, major, student ID, the exams that they have taken, and this is the exam ID, their score for that exam, and this is the exam that they have scheduled. This is the scheduled date, as you can see. Then we move on to the different students. Then what my main file does, it first initializes a exams vector, which loads in data from the exam objects in the input file exams.txt, and we have the in-stream, which is loading in the data over here, and then we also load in data for student objects from the input file into these variables, and accordingly we get the in-stream and set the data for the student objects. And the result of this is that we're going to have we're going to have a students object array which stores multiple students and all the information that their class is associated with. We're also going to have an exams object array which stores all exams and It's an exam object array, which stores all the exam-related information. So that's the part where we load the data, and then we also define a outstream, which writes new data from the user input to the same files. So, for example, if the user would update or maybe create a new exam, in that case, the exams.txt file would be updated through the outstream. So let's move on to the main menu. This is our main menu. Welcome to exam management. We get to choose, are you a student or instructor? Enter 1 for instructor and 0 for student. So if the user chooses instructor, then he has 3 options: to create a new exam, to see which students have signed up for an upcoming exam, and to see results of a past exam. So let's go to the first option. So if the instructor wants to create a new exam, he would enter the date, type, total number of seats, exam ID, and accordingly the exams.txt file would also be updated through the outstream. And it's going to give us a list of new exams, of all exams, which is updated after the instructor adds a new exam. Then that was our first choice. Now say the instructor wanted to see which students have signed up for an upcoming exam. Then it would go into this control path where we retrieve the data of students who have signed up for a particular exam. So we enter the exam ID, then accordingly we can see which students have signed up for that specific exam. And then finally, the third option for the instructor is to see the results summary of all past exams that have taken place. So the instructor enters the exam ID, and they can see the results summary accordingly. Now say we say the user was a student instead of an instructor. So the student would have 3 options as well: to opt out, to sign up, or check results of past exams. So the first control path allows students to opt out of a scheduled exam. We're going to display all the exams they have signed up for, and then they will enter the exam ID they want to opt out, and then they will be removed from that specific exam, and the new scheduled exam list will be displayed to the student. Next, the next option for the student is the student can sign up for an upcoming exam. So we're going to list all the upcoming exams, and we're going to show the student what he's already signed up for, and then which exam he would like to sign up for additionally, and he's going to enter the exam ID accordingly. And the student's scheduled exams vector is going to be updated, as well as the seats vector in the exam object is also going to be updated with the student ID. Okay, moving on to the third option, which is the student can check their results from a previous exam. So we're going to list all the exams that they've taken and ask the student which exam specifically they would like to see the results for. Accordingly, the program would retrieve the results, the score. And then you can repeat the program again to perform it again. So let's go over a quick run of the program. So